You just keep going, and one day you're going on without me time. You just keep going, and one day you're going on without me time. You just keep going, and one day you're going on without me time.
All right, guys, it's your girl Stacey Williams with Listen, Talk to Me. And today is a special podcast episode with my dear friends LaToya Bowens and Tanesha Pough. Oh man, we go back, way back. Like, what was the line from OD? Like babies and pacifiers.
Oh, me and Mariah. Go back, like, baby,
I
yep.
mean, we go back. Oh my goodness. Who can say in this time of day, they are still keeping in contact with their friends from elementary? Yes, y'all. I got my girls from my elementary stage of life. Okay. We're talking 6th grade, but then when we allow them to speak for themselves, you're going to find out that Tanesha and Toya have known each other since what grade, y'all?
3rd.
The deuces.
Third. Well, second we knew, but we were in 3rd grade together.
All right, yes.
So we knew each other in 2nd grade, but 3rd grade we were in class together and gotten a few, trouble.
Clarifying. Well,
Like a
go
lie.
ahead, girl. Well, before we get started, because I'm going to allow them to introduce themselves, let's do a quick icebreaker, y'all. Matter of fact, let's do intros first. I think we should do intros first, and then we'll go into a quick little icebreaker. So I'm going to hand it over to my girl, Tanesha. Come on, tell us about yourself, because there's so many titles, so many hats that you wear, but you introduce yourself the way you want to be known.
Hello, I'm Tanesha Pough. I am a mother, a wife, a sister, a friend, a therapist as my primary job, even though my girls will say I'm like Tommy from Martin because I'm at home all the time. But still, I have 3 children, and, pretty much I'm always on the go, running around, whether it's work, sports, anything. So, but yes, true indeed. These are my friends from elementary school, the Challenger days, as we would call it.
All right. Come on, Miss LaToya Bowens, introduce yourself.
All right, well, I'm LaToya, aka Toya, aka PAAZZION. I
Come
can't
on
spell. I'm a child of God, and I'm a mom, I'm a wife. That's me.
All right.
Ain't much to it.
She dabbles in some nutrition and
Yes.
some workout, specialists over there.
Yeah, I feel like Michelle Obama said it best for me. Like, I'm becoming, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like there's so many things that I do and can do and want to do, and I don't like to just say, oh, this is, you know what I mean, I'm this, or you know what I'm saying. And so that list is ongoing, like you said, right? I'm this, I'm that, I'm that. So like, I'm me, I'm a child of God, and that's
Awesome. All right. Nice intro, ladies. Now let's do some ice breaking before we dig into this title, our topic today about friendship. And there's a word before that I use, true friendship. And that's very important and key to today's episode. But to break some ice, I'm going to ask, we went with Tanesha first, last question or segment. This segment, I want to start with Toya. Tell me one of your favorite memories of all 3 of us, and then maybe just one of us.
favorite memories.
Because we have so many, but your favorite of all, and if you need me to go first, I can.
That means that must sound like you have one on your mind. So I'm gonna let you go.
All right, so that gives you girls some time to think about how you want to respond to that question. One of my favorite memories of all three of us would have to be when we were on McGuire Air Force Base and we were out in our pajamas, if I'm not mistaken, because that was so long ago. And it was late at night. And I don't know why we decided at Toya's slumber party to go outside and walk around in our pajamas. And we were caught by the military police, the MPs, in front of the shopette, if I'm not mistaken, on the east side, right? Because there used to be a shopette next to the theater, right? I think they tore it down or something after some point. But girl, Tanesha and I knew not to give the MPs our father's name, but Miss Toya, who has always been so honest, and I tell you that is a gift, and I thank God for that. I learned a lot through that. Could not lie in that moment. She was running off her dad's name because, of course, the MPs were like, who are your parents? You guys are out here late at night in your pajamas. Run the parents' names down so we can find out what is going on. And Tanesha and I was sitting there like, but Toya was breaking it down like, his name is this, and he works here. And I was like, I ain't giving that information. So that is one of my favorite memories of all three of us. And then because Tanesha and I lived on the north side together, I have a lot of back in the day memories with Tanesha. And I'm gonna have to let y'all know she's a troublemaker. Even though there was a lot of memories that I could share with Tanesha, but I have to say one of my favorite ones was when we were returning from choir rehearsal and somebody was driving us home and that person missed the left turn in order to stay on the street to get us home safely and was about to go into the forest. And so we're in the back holding on for dear life to one another, like, brace yourself.
I know that person.
We're about to die tonight. And we were just like, no, stop. But praise God, she heard us. She put on her brakes. We were able to back up, get back on the street where we should be in order to get home safely. So I have been through storms. I have been through trials and tribulations with my dear sisters. But since you have us visibly here on this podcast, you can see we made it through, praise God. And now we have a story to tell. So those are my two favorite memories that I hold on dear to my heart that makes me smile, makes me laugh when I need it. So back to you, Toya.
Well, I thank God for your memory because my memories aren't that great. But the thing, what I remember the most with the two of you together is not positive. It's not like my favorite memory. It's not like we was doing something good. That's what I remember the most. Well, you want me to share that?
Go on and share.
All right, we so y'all know I used to go out with Delano, right?
Yes.
And I feel like we were somewhere on the east side. I don't remember being on the north side.
We were.
You know what I'm talking about?
I'm still trying to fetch it. I'm like, okay, go ahead.
So I don't know what we were doing. We were out and we was like out in a field, or I feel like I just remember seeing grass. And y'all was encouraging me to do some stuff, and I was like, I don't want to do it, and y'all was like, no, go ahead, do it. Like it's nothing happening around, and I was like, okay, but that honestly sticks out the most. That's one thing that I remember, and I mean, I didn't do anything. We probably went away, and I was just talking like, well, I don't really want to, you know what I'm saying? But that is funny that as soon as you asked me that, that's what came up.
And I'm so glad you did not go through with that peer pressure, which is something, again, that is found in friendship. And praise God, we are not what we used to be, right, Tanesha?
That's right.
Come on now. So I am so sorry that is something that is still
sorry. Don't be
but
sorry.
Still, you gotta know. I'm not for that.
I mean, we was kids. That's kid stuff. I think it's just funny that that's the first thing that came up in my mind. And then as far as like something like single, like if I'll pick you, I just remember but this I think is more when you left the base. Like I remember getting rides from your mom in the white
Dynasty.
Yeah. I just remember being in the back listening to gospel music, like
Yeah.
and not saying much. Just
Yep.
I remember waiting for you guys to come and the John would pull up, or Tanisha's Buick Regal. Well, y'all ain't have a Regal. You had a
Yeah.
They had a Regal, the red John.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I had a Regal too, so I thought I was mixing it up. But y'all had that John. I remember y'all cars, and I'm like, okay, they're here.
Yes. Yes. Mr. Davis stayed with the vehicles, man.
Yeah, they had the red car for the red door.
Yeah.
I remember Tanisha phone number ending 5558.
Wow, you remember that?
I used to dial it a lot.
Yes.
Awesome. Come on, Tanesha.
So of course I remember all that, and I knew Stacey was gonna say it because I was like, oh, that story just still had me laughing to this day. But there's so many different wonderful memories that I can actually think of. One would be being at the youth center for Friday night skating.
Oh my.
And a lot of times, unfortunately, my parents and Stacey's parents would not pay for the membership for the youth center. However, Toya was always in that youth center, and we used to always get kicked out.
Yes.
Danny, God rest her soul.
But y'all come side door.
But, huh?
Remember that side door? Somebody
Yes.
was in the side door.
Yes, we used to always get kicked out because we didn't have a membership, but those were truly sometimes that I enjoyed going skating and just trying to go in there for free, pretty much. Or there was times where me and Stacey would be at the pool across the street, and Toya would be mad because she had to be at camp and couldn't join us.
Right.
Summer fun.
Some other, I'm just trying to think of another one.
It's so long ago.
But I remember it all. That's what's so funny. I would, like Stacey said, her and I lived on the north side of McGuire, but in the morning, I would go to her house and get her. And of course, we had to do devotion at her house. And there was plenty of times we used to be like, you know, Miss Diane, we gonna be late. And she was like, no, y'all stay right here. You need devotion. And Bushy, we'd be like running out to catch the bus, and Bushy be ready to shut the door on us to get to school. So, I mean, we could go down memory lane for forever for all the stories that we done had.
Girl, you brought up a beautiful name, Bushy.
Yes.
That is okay. We gotta let the world know. Bushy was our bus driver. They don't make bus drivers like Bushy. Bushy, man, even though she was very vulgar, she still had this love for us on that bus, that when she was somehow in an accident, Tanesha, if I'm not mistaken, because
we cried.
We got on the bus and we was like, well, where's Bushy? And I don't know if they ever told us exactly where she was and how we found out what happened, but we were crying that Bushy, who was always faithfully there to pick us up and drop us off and who would curse us out, where we should have reported her, now that I think about it. But us being kids, we didn't know. Go home, tell your parents this bus driver is cursing us out. But when she came back, we was like, Bushy! And she was like, hey, y'all, shut that door, like, let's ride.
Oh man, I got me over here.
We loved her. Even when there would be like one of our good friends, Tanesha, and I think Toya too, she was fighting, and Tanesha tried to get off the bus to watch the fight, but some reason I think you wanted to get back on the bus.
Wanted to get back on.
Kept you in that door. Nah, you step off my bus, you off. No more liability of mine. You got to go. I was like on the bus like, bye.
Y'all making my head hurt.
You got to walk home from there now.
Oh man.
Good memories.
You got tears, huh?
Yes, because it's so funny. Like I'm sitting here like laughing all the memories.
Right, my head hurt from Smile.
We have so many memories, even having to meet Toya, because she, like we said, she was on the east side, we were on the north side. So would you say, Tanesha, that was maybe a good 1.5 miles, if not a mile?
Oh, absolutely. From where we lived at down at the end.
Yeah.
And coming around and meet at the 7-Eleven for our chili dogs.
Wait, Tanesha, what would we buy from the 7-Eleven back then?
Chili dogs. Chili dogs all the way. Oh,
Not only the chili dogs, we would get the pickle in the juice bag.
yes.
A single pickle in the little pouch, and we would drink the juice after we were done eating the pickle. And then they had the man, what were those corn?
The Slurpees? No,
It was corn that had the seasoning on top of it.
I can't think of what it was
And
though.
I want to say they were called corn chips, like literal corn chips, because it was corn that had been fried, and then it had some type of like a barbecue seasoning on top of it. It was kind of spicy.
Yeah, I can't think of what they're called though, but
Yeah, see, Toya, you probably don't know, because that's what we did waiting on you.
Beforehand. Oh wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was like, I don't know no corn dog. I really wasn't eating no chili dogs.
right.
yeah, no, we stayed at our 7-Eleven. That was our go-to.
Yeah,
But see, unfortunately, this generation didn't know. We didn't have cell phones back then.
right.
So, you know, we just, and again, our parents weren't taking us everywhere they want to go. We had our Chevrolets, is what we called them, our feet. We had to walk.
There you go. Not only that, but you just made me remember when we used to have to use the pay phones to call Q102.
I just thought about that.
Didn't you get through one day
Yes.
and hold the phone?
At the theater.
Yes.
Where the James play was in Wrightstown.
Mhm.
And I was like, oh my God, you had, what was the phrase you had to say? You had to say the phrase. I can't
You're
remember
right.
what it was.
You're right. There was
I don't know what it was.
True.
Yeah.
Oh.
I
Mm-mm-mm.
remember driving to the radio station to pick up my shirt. It might still be at my mom's house.
I'm sure it is.
Yes, at your mom's house, everything is there.
Oh,
It's funny
you say that because I'm going to clean on January 31st, and my sweetheart was like, Tanesha and Stacy should help you. I was like, help me clean my room.
Oh, we'd probably find so much in there. All our little notes.
Yeah.
We used to have everything.
My letters are there.
Yep. Yep.
And Toya would try and outright you.
Oh gosh, all the time.
We
It was like-
had this thing where if I wrote a 1-page letter to you, you would have to write more than that. So it would be 2 or more. It was up to you, but come on, we all knew where this was going. So you would stay to that next level. 2.
Mhm.
Then the 2 pages would come, you'd be like, all right, 3. Then you would reply with 4, and it would go on and on until that one friend was like, I am not doing
You know
all
what?
that.
And you, Stacy, you would number your pages.
Yeah.
You would always number them. So I'd be like, oh, okay, I knew what it was. And then you read them between periods, like, oh,
Yes, and hand it off.
that's something else to do.
And Toya, you were good with folding your notes.
Mhm.
Yes, that's why I be doing the little people. I be telling them, I'm like, yo, I used to.
Yes.
And I be having that little stuff.
Yeah. Tanesha and I were like, here's the page.
Exactly.
Half.
Hold it over that.
Yeah.
I be like,
Yes.
That's that gifted and talented in her, Stacy. That's what it is.
My
My
gifted
kid.
and talent didn't come until high school, man. It took us a minute. Me and Tanesha, we were in remedial math or reading or something together.
It's Gregory.
God bless, again, the teachers back then. And we would just sit at her feet and she would take her shoes off. So it would just smell the room. And her feet were in this certain condition that Tanesha and I would crack up the whole remedial.
Oh my gosh.
And maybe that's why we stayed in remedial.
Yes.
We were laughing and not learning.
nah.
Absolutely.
But to God be the glory, because again, he didn't keep us there, man.
No.
We have a beautiful journey of sisterhood, and that's going to lead us into this next segment about true friendship. I believe in a true friendship, there is a bond that can carry you to something such as sisterhood. it's not just a level or a title. This is something that is very deep, something that's very intimate, something that is very treasurable to the ones that are experiencing a true friendship. That you hold that person like family. You hold that person very dear to you, that even if your own family experiences have not been great, you are experiencing something so genuine that you hold it dear as a treasure because it's something that you know that is valuable and should not be taken for granted. So when I can go to Tanesha and ask you, what is your definition, Tanesha, of true friendship? What does that look like to you?
So true friendship to me is somebody that you can always count on, no matter what. The thing about it is, all of our lives are different, and we're busy because we all have children, we all have things we're involved in, and at any given time, you can call on one of these girls, and whether it's in a time of need, in time of encouragement, whatever it is, they will have your back no matter what. If you have to, because unfortunately we don't live as close to one of our friends because they decided to move, but that's all right. But you kind of know when you're even talking with them on the phone, something ain't right. You could tell right then and there when you're speaking to them, something ain't right. What's going on? Let's have this conversation. Let's talk. So I could always say that my girls, hands down, they know when something ain't right with me, or if I know something ain't right with them. And I guess that's the connection that I feel like true friendships, no matter what, they always got your back.
Yeah.
Like you say, it's just not friends, it's family. Like, unfortunately, Stacey's the oldest one, so she'll send me stuff like little sis and saying same thing. I'll be like, I love that because the thing about it is, even with them, like we know so much about everybody. We know their birthday, we know their middle name. Like we just honestly like when it's that time, hey girl, happy birthday, whatever. And I love that our kids are also unfortunately around the same age. Not unfortunately, excuse me, I shouldn't say like that. But our kids are also around the same age and they're growing up and they need to see that. Like you can have a true friend no matter how many years. Like I can bring up stuff like, oh, I remember, just things that we kind of did, and even when the kids was born, oh, I remember those days. You know, I love it. That's why I feel like a true friend is really a person that you can lean on, count on, no matter what the situation is, and it's not just one way. That's the whole thing. It's not one way. So that's my definition.
Well said. Same, Toya.
Oh, the same question.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because what Tanesha said, I think is like a simplified version of that, right? If your kids know when I say your name, if they know you, that's a true friend.
All right.
They at least my girls, they really appreciate seeing my friendship with the two of y'all. And I like they say it and they always ask it, like, you know what I'm saying? They're really interested in our relationship. So I mean I totally agree with Tanesha. I think what for me, the definition of a friend, of what I have found in my life, right, is the people who have been there no matter what. Like I can appreciate that people come into your life for seasons. And I might call them, oh, that's my girl or whatever, but really they're like and I would call them, some of them, friends, right? But like you said, the elevation from friend to sister,
Yeah.
like that's, everybody doesn't have that, and the two of y'all are that. You know what I'm saying? And there's reasons, and the biggest reason for me is that, like Tanesha said, y'all are consistently there. You've shown, you've proven, time and time and time again, even when I'm at my worst, that you will be there regardless, no matter what.
Well said. So my next follow-up question to that is, even though you both broke that down very simplistic and understanding what your definition of friendship is, if there's someone out there watching this episode, how can they understand the patience that comes with understanding what you have? Because we're living in a time where people cut off people, cancel people, whatever you want to, whatever word you want to use. But because their needs are not being met, it's almost like they're so quick to cut off people and demonize their name, speak ill of them because they did not get what they needed. And I'm going to be honest with this little segment here. I have not seen, in my experience, the time that needs to be put into understanding differences in a relationship. Meaning, we're so good to criticize or to analyze other people's actions without holding weight to our own. We're quick to say, well, you didn't call me. Well, how come you didn't pick up your phone and call me then? If that's what you needed, okay? And then people are quick to go on social media and air out, well, I ain't got no two friends. I don't, and it's like, wow, instead of getting on that soapbox, you could have just simply went to the one you have an art with to say, I just want to make sure, are we good? Are we not good? Like, what's going on? Put the work into the relationship that is needed and necessary, because listen, it will carry over in all your relationships. If you are single, if you would learn in your friendships how to maintain a good relationship through communication, then believe me, when you're in a love relationship, it carries over. So in our journey of growing up, I believe that our young people need to be taught how to communicate effectively so that it grows with them, and then come to their marriage, then their communication is so strong, it's effective, that is not going to derail what God has brought together. Because it's three things that, kind of destroy a marriage, which is communication, sex, and finances. So that is one way of strengthening that one area that seems to lack, or seems to be an area as to why couples, decide to divorce. But back to, again, Toya, you following up that question of your answer would be, again, how can someone discern or differentiate what's going on? Is this person just a seasonal relationship, or are they here for the long haul? What could you encourage them with to know the difference?
Patience. I think patience is huge, because I think for sometimes only time will tell. You know what I'm saying? And you could think that, or you could be so tight with someone at a certain point and be like, oh, and y'all planning things out into the future. You know what I'm saying? And then something happens, and then it's different, right?
Right.
So as far as telling the difference, I think it's very easy to be cool with people when things are good, right? So you have to have opposition or some type of hurdle in order to be the proving ground. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's with any relationship. So as I'm saying this, right, because it's not really something I thought about before, but as I'm talking, I feel like you'll know, and maybe not, because that person can always come back and apologize for how they reacted or how they weren't there at a time. But I don't know. I feel like the obstacles in life will show you people, right? Like when it's time to, like, what's inside will pour out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? When the going gets tough or whatever. At least for me, that's how I've been able to see who was really real, who was really, really down for me, and who just really wasn't. And even to this day, like, the people who ended up not being that, like, I talk to them, I have relationships with them. It wasn't immediate, you know what I'm saying? But it grew me as a person to have more patience, more, I would say more patience, more grace, more love for those who stuck with me. So it's almost like to y'all benefit, right? Because through those like the stuff that I had to deal with that, well, I'm like, well, I certainly don't want any of that to come between us ever. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if that answered the question, but I guess the answer is in times of adversity, that's when you see, the cream coming to the top.
Cool. Go ahead, Tanesha. Follow up with that too.
So for what I see is the whole thing how it says always a person can come in your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And I feel like you see a person's true colors is when they're no longer needing you or beneficial to you, beneficial for you in their lives. Like it's always, I feel like sometimes when it's one sided, like they're always needy, 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 needy. And when you ask for something in return, there's no response or they're not there for you. Right. They go away. Like it's like, oh, where you at now? It's my turn. Like, and I'm not saying it's tit for tat because that's the whole thing in a relationship. It's not tit for tat, but it's just at that time when you may need somebody. And again, as a young generation, I can even contest this when we probably were, I believe we were in sixth grade. I can tell you a little story with Stacy. I think I stabbed her in the back at one point when I was trying to get with one of her boyfriends at the time, and she was like, "You wrong," and we had to like be humble. We had to apologize, and look at us now, like 30-something years later. Like we had to forgive one another, and that's the whole thing. It's all about forgiving and forgetting, and not dwelling on that no more. And kind of moving forward. And like, Toya talked about, it's all about patience. It's all about time. It's about understanding one another to really be able to overcome the differences.
I love it. Tanesha, yes, you bring up a memory because even though you're saying about back in elementary about some boyfriend or whatever, even recently, Tanesha was grown enough, mature enough to approach me about a decision that I made without involving her when it came to my husband's birthday party. Now, if she never would have brought this up, I never would have known that this was troubling her heart.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that she was able to come to me, because I want to say it was my girl Toya's birthday. So we're out celebrating her.
We went out for her.
I'm only laughing because it's birthdays, because that happened with me and her too. It's about birthday.
Exactly. And we can laugh about it.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. We can laugh about it. It's okay.
Absolutely. Yeah, because again, the heart is not, again, a malicious one. The intent is not to hurt anyone. And right. I'm so glad that the maturity is there, because my thing is, again, if you're not in a friendship where you can't honestly approach one another about something that is rubbing you the wrong way, because you never know, it could be a misunderstanding. You right. have to be able to be comfortable to talk with one another to find out what's going on, because if it is something deep, then again, the friendship can still work if you're willing to work for it. Right. Or if it's a misunderstanding, it's like, wow, I was about to throw this friendship away over a misunderstanding. But if I never was honest enough, mature enough to approach my friend, who I say is my friend, and that's the thing. I'm like talking to the younger generation. I thought y'all were friends. Yeah, but well, if that's your friend, why are you not working for that relationship? Why are you not going to them, knowing their character? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? If you know that they're not a malicious person, they're not one to stir the pot all the time, why not give them the benefit of the doubt? Why not extend that leaf to them to say, all right, everything's not going to be perfect all the time. Mm-hmm. People make mistakes. And because we know people make mistakes and no one's perfect, why are we not extending the grace that is needed for that? Mm-hmm. So again, all our listeners today, I got to let you know that in this journey, there have been bumps in the road, but we were mature enough to say, even if I call Toya and be like, Toya, this was bothering me. It's not one to say, well, get rid of Tanesha. No. find out what's going on, pray about it. Do you know what I mean? And if I went to Tanesha, hey, Tanesha, maybe something, Toya, this is that. I don't know. Whatever it is, if we call each other a sisterhood, we call each other a friend, it should never be about outing someone else. It should always be about keeping the bond, maintaining it. Well, what can I do to help? Can we do a three-way call? Do people even do that anymore? Maybe just FaceTime three-way. I don't know. but our history has not come to anything like that. But if your friendships are, finding a rocky moment and things like that, don't be so quick to just throw it in the trash. Think about their character. Pray about it. See if, the Lord would tell you, is it seasonal? Has that time come to an end? And be at peace. Don't get mad. If their time has been served, be appreciative for the time, for the experience. Learn from it, grow from it, and go forward. And just be a blessing to someone else and serve your purpose in that next friendship and relationship. So with the lows, what would you tell Tanesha, everyone out there, with the lows? How do you get through? What's some encouragement for someone that's like, man, that's me right now. I'm going through with one of my best friends, whether it's been 6 months to 60 years of a friendship. What encouragement would you tell them on how to make it through the rocky times?
Never give up. Never give up on, again, if we're talking about a true friendship, because we all know the enemy will try to come in. And if that person is your ride or die, got your back no matter what, reach out to them. Find out exactly what's going on. Because like we said, it could be the littlest thing. You didn't call me back, or just anything like that. Like it's not always about being needy, but it's about reaching out to one another, encouraging one another, and just allowing, again, time may have to heal, because we all know time heals a wound. So, I mean, I just think that we just all gotta allow it to go through its course again, because again, if we talked about it before, if it's a true friendship, they will understand and know that it's not over. So again, just never give up on the friendship.
That's good. How about you, Toya?
Oh, what was the question?
How can you encourage? She over there receiving like, wait, what? How could you encourage someone who may feel that their friendship right now is going through some rocky times?
Yeah, I mean, communication is always the key, in my opinion. And I feel like I have to counsel Jaylee on this often. But I mean, thank God she has a relationship with God, right? So she's able to tap into, a supernatural power where that gives her patience, that gives her grace, that gives her the ability to be, I'll be like, Jaylee, sometimes you gotta be the bigger person. You know what I'm saying? If they didn't say, like, make the first step to say, hey, blah, 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 or it feels like something is wrong. Like, I'm here. I would love to hear what's on your heart. You know what I'm saying? So I think you have to communicate. If you're not even willing to communicate with someone you say is your friend, then like maybe that what you think is not really happening. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like if it's a true friend, you would do that. You would at least attempt to do that, right? You would at least attempt to talk to them. Or else it's probably not what you thought it was.
Yeah. I like that you said that bigger person though, because that's in relationships, period. Like sometimes you be like ready to like, no, I'm not. He better come apologize. But sometimes you have to say, you know what? Enough is enough.
Joyce Meyer actually helped me with that, because she always says the better person will do the better thing. The better person will do the right thing first. So, I mean, and of course you're not like, I'm a better person, but you know what I mean? Like, it's almost like an opportunity to be Christ-like. And I tried my best. I ask God to help me to see those, right? Help me to see the opportunity where I can be like Jesus. What would Jesus do? You know what I'm saying? He wouldn't be like, I'm gonna wait. You know what I'm saying? He would go and he would serve and he would this, that, and the third. So it's really about putting your humility, your pride, not humility, but your pride to the side. And I mean, at least for me, with like just different recent deaths, that always puts things into perspective, right? Like time is so short. Time is so short, and anything could happen to anybody at any time. And I want the people that I love to have the best view of me when they go out. I mean, that sounds selfish, but you know what I'm saying?
I understand.
I don't want to be caught in that. So that helped me to try to put nip things in the bud even quicker.
Wow.
Kind of like, if I could just, say something real quick, Stacey. I just like how you talked about even like pride itself, because Pastor Darius talks about that. Right now we're in a beast mode series, and he just talked about honoring up. And it's not just honoring up. He's like talking about honoring up, honoring down, or honoring all around. And like, we have to understand, like, even when we see people out here on the street sometimes, you don't know their situation. You don't know their story. So you may think, oh, they just want to be homeless. That's not necessarily. And I had a situation at my job where one of my foster parents I work with, I kind of was like, we were butting heads. And I was like, we got to get through this breakthrough. I immediately, like, just recently was like, yo, I apologize if you thought I came off wrong. But I was like, and I felt like, you know what, that's all we needed to do. We needed to, like, we all about it, communicate.
Yeah.
I just felt like we have to respect one another, because again, like you said, Toya, life is too short right now. We have seen it in 2020 and the beginning of 2021, the way this world is coming to. We all need to be humble and we need to ask for forgiveness.
Yeah.
And it's like, we got to move past it.
Yes. Come on, my friends. my friends. Isn't there a saying like, if you don't know someone, if you show me their friends, then we know who you are, something like that.
Yeah.
Somebody said, rapper said that in a song. If I see your friends, then I have a good idea who you are.
Yeah. Know who you are.
Yeah. So that's another topic of, again, be careful who you surround yourself with, because believe me, your friends are an influence in your life. And Toya and Tanesha talking about how life is so short. You don't want to be around a crew that is making you waste your time. You don't want to be around a crew that's making you not value life itself, that's playing games and being evil for no reason, talking about people, gossiping and just hurting people.
You all in Proverbs, sis.
Yeah. And that's not wisdom at all. So again, you want to make that dash that's, in between your sunrise and your sunset, make it count.
Make it count, yeah.
Yeah, because believe me, at your funeral, people do not hold back. They will be on that mic letting people know, well, this is the experience I had with this one in this car.
True.
You know what I mean? And it varies, because I've seen where people have had a relationship for many years with someone, but yet will learn even the more from other people about that person, because that just wasn't their experience.
Right.
So you can act like you're putting on different masks. Guess what? We're going to find out the whole picture at the funeral. Like, I didn't know they went into that.
Like you said, it's about being transparent. Like, this is who I am. I'm crazy Tanesha. Like Stacey said, I'm a troublemaker. That's who I was, Lord.
But Tanesha has always been a clown, and I so appreciate that. If ever you're down, if ever you need a laugh, oh my goodness, the gift of laughter is all saturated on her. And wisdom, and again, this is just different things. They both of these girls possess many things. But again, speaking with Toya, just the wisdom of experience of, you're more like, Toya, you remind me of my older brother. You sit back, you observe, and then you talk. I believe like me and Tanesha, we're more like, we gonna let you know. And then, wait a minute, I didn't mean that. I'm sorry, I should have thought about that. Whereas Toya is the opposite. She's the observer, and then it's like, well, why would you think that? And it's like, huh? She makes you slow down. She makes you rethink and analyze. And it's like, well, why would I think that? You're right. And she gives you different perspectives. And we need that. We need the differences in the crew. If you're around people who are just like you or trying to be like you, how are you going to grow? I have grown so much from just the differences in this relationship. I've been able to glean from the differences from these two ladies, and I'm so grateful and thankful. And then again, in our honesty and transparency of, again, is it always perfect? No. Is it always a high time? No. But what I'm grateful for is the fact that our relationship was never forced. If we didn't talk for months, it wasn't like, how come you're not talking to me? We would pick right up, and our bond was never interrupted. And that's how I knew that these two women were truly a sister to me, because they never, you just got married and had a baby, and it's like, well, when are we gonna go out? We used to go out when you were single. Well, how come we're not going out no more? Never pressured, never forced to be something and maintain something that was. I believe you two understood there were different seasons in our life. We were at each other's weddings, and the funny thing is our memory. I was like, Tanesha, were we at your wedding? Because she was posting her, what was that, destination wedding one?
Yeah.
They all in the Caribbean. I'm like, I don't remember being in the Caribbean. I don't remember.
That was my renewal, yes.
Come on.
But no, but like you saying, like, the thing about it is we can call, we can not talk for like months. And like you said, we can pick up and we can reminisce and we can sit there and laugh. And that's how you know. And seeing Toya's mother with her good friend Cheryl that she's done known for 50-something years, I want to say, like, that's powerful. And to see that's what I really love, that we all can sit here and be like, yo, you remember this when this happened? Like, just, and it's just, again, God has kept us all throughout all we went through, and how we, trying to be on Mary Street and trying to be grown and do big things. And you know what? I thank God. And even in true friendships, it spirals down in your relationship.
Yeah.
Your relationship because you will have, like, honestly, me and Earl are totally opposite, but we make the best. Like, we mesh with one another. Because we'll be like, okay, you funny, I'm funny. They be like, y'all are crazy together. But it's the love that I have for one another. Like, we just, like, total opposite of what I would have wanted. Like, but that's who God called for me. That's what I always say. I was like, God called him to be. Because I'm like, he is not who I would want to be with. But, sorry, going off topic. But yes, I just think that that's how relationships, even with friendships, I gotta say.
Yo, I cannot get off this Zoom without mentioning the fact, and it's funny because that you asked me about my first memory of, or my favorite memory of y'all.
Yeah.
And it wasn't my favorite, but that's what came to mind. Y'all trying to be in my relationship.
Ooh.
Not in a bad way, but right? Y'all just, hey, Toya, do this. Now, don't you know, both of y'all have a very important role in the two more relationships in my life. and I don't even have to say, y'all know what I'm talking about. But I think that is hilarious to me that Tanesha was like, go. Oh, I think you should. Okay, I did it.
You got two wonderful, beautiful kids.
And yes. And then Stacy was like, well, if I was you, I would. And I was like, okay. And I went and did it.
And two more. And a husband.
That number 2.
Baby.
Isn't that funny? Like the memory of my earliest memory is y'all being like, go ahead. And I'm like, okay. Look how y'all have like really affected my life, yo.
Oh man.
Y'all gonna be my friends, shoot.
Yeah.
You don't have
Yes.
no choice.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling y'all, if you're listening and watching, you can have a beautiful relationship with your friends.
Mm-hmm.
I am so blessed and honored to say that I look forward, y'all, to growing older.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to the point where I may not even know how to call y'all, but my great great grandchildren will pick up the phone knowing how important you two are.
Yep.
I'll dial y'all, and we might even spend the 30 minutes of, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Are you there? I can't see you. And they're gonna be like, grandma, they can hear you, you know. I look forward to that.
Yeah.
I
Mm-hmm.
look forward to how our children will grow knowing one another.
Mm-hmm.
Our children's children, I pray, will know one another because of the bond that we have. And that's how you make a difference in the world,
Yeah, legacy.
because you're the example. They're
Yeah.
learning from you. And so to say that we have what we have is blessing our children, which will then bless their children to the generations and the generations to come. You two, I can't say thank you enough. I can't say I love y'all enough.
Mm-hmm.
All I can say is, God, you knew what I needed in my life.
Many years ago.
That's why he moved us out of all the places my dad asked the military to allow him to retire. Nope, God said New Jersey, because Stacy needs some true sisters.
Garden
And
State.
I met you too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do nothing but God. I think I do thank God for my relationship with the two of you often.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's true. Like I said, even in my times last month, you guys know my situation, what I went through. And Lord, thank you for covering this household.
Yes.
Because, you know, Toya was texting, Stacey was called. It was just, you know what? I gotta truly say that that's where you see, you know, reaching out. And, you know, it's funny because even Toya's birthday, the beginning of this month, and her mother at midnight was like, you beat me to the punch. And I was like, hey, I got to do what I got to, and put old pictures up. That's the whole thing, like just being able, you know, to reminisce like that. And still speaking, you know, with Pastor Thompson and First Lady Diane, that's true, you know, that's true. That's truly a connection. I can say we kind of all have.
But y'all fam.
Yeah.
And I got to ask you, Tanesha, the picture that you're speaking of, that very first picture where you all are at school?
Yes, Challenger.
Who took that picture?
I have no idea.
You don't think you wait.
Well, first of all, none of us had cell phones, so I guess it was, you know, how you used to have to develop the pictures.
Yep.
For some reason,
Picture. You wasn't in the picture.
why wouldn't Stacey be in it?
No,
Oh,
I
wait,
didn't. I wasn't there.
she talking about the picture you just posted. You weren't in the picture. You probably took it.
Why would she not be in the picture? She would have been in the picture. Stacey went and took the picture.
No,
Like, first of all, me.
I thought Tanesha was in it.
I wasn't. No, I wasn't in it. So maybe I did take it.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought you weren't in it.
That's right. It was you, Melissa. Okay, yeah, that's right. So maybe I did have my camera, and then we got it developed.
Look, I'm going on your page right now.
You weren't in the picture.
That's right. I was in pictures, so I had to take our camera because see, this generation don't realize we used to have them disposable cameras, and you had to take them over to James way. You had to take them to James way, get them developed. What happened?
Okay.
That was 6th grade.
I don't know what grade that was.
No, that wasn't 6th grade because that girl left before I came.
Alicia left before 6th grade. Yep.
Oh,
so that was probably 5th grade.
Fourth
or 5th.
That was pretty tall.
Yeah, 4th or 5th.
Look, I was towering over people. You seen that? I said, "Oh snap!"
Yep.
And then it just
Yeah.
And then in the second picture, I guess I've mistaken Alicia for you, Tanesha. But the second picture, what is so, like, there's so many reasons why this is precious, but I don't know if y'all remember, I was miscarrying my child. in that picture.
No.
Remember that?
No, I
pregnant.
didn't know that at all. I mean, I never, I guess I never knew the time.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I didn't know. Because you got married in May.
Me?
No,
September.
you got married in September.
Okay.
She got married in May. You know, girl, you know I.
Wait, so you mean at that time, you didn't know at that time?
No, I knew because
You knew?
I've miscarried twice, and that one was the second one, and I was spotting the whole pregnancy, so I kind of knew what was.
I'm about to cry because
Now we being transparent. I didn't know you miscarried twice. Now look, see.
I mean, so okay. Oh wow.
I remember one you had to have the DNC done. But I remember twice.
Number one, communication. I could get on you about that, Stacey. Maybe
I
that's a
could
different
before I was
podcast.
telling you.
Huh?
But you know what? You were getting
Number
married,
two.
so I probably wasn't talking to you. I was probably talking to the girls in the bridal party.
Yeah, no.
You told them.
Well, there was a time where we went to the bathroom before we were to march down. So I was talking about it then in the bathroom. So
But so number two is the selflessness. Because I didn't know that till this day.
are you serious?
I did not know that during my wedding that was happening. No, you didn't like tell me like, hey, while this was happening, it's happening.
I'm not gonna do that. That's your day.
That's your day.
Beautiful
I mean,
day.
but even the next day or the next week, like you never.
Then your honeymoon.
I mean, but that's what I'm saying. It's like, so that's very selfless, right? I think that's what a friend would do, right? I'm not going to tell you on your wedding day that this is happening, although you certainly could have, you know what I'm saying? And it kind of, I mean, it hurts me that you didn't, not hurt in like a big giant hurt way, because I know, so on a, so like, wow. But on the flip side, like, I feel like, and I think we've talked about it since then, like there a lot of times you do that, like you don't say stuff, you know what I'm saying? And you go through things without saying anything. And then I'd be like, well, why didn't you tell me? Or why didn't you say something? And that used to bother me about you. Like, again, not bother to the point where it's like, well, forget her, but I'd be like, yo, I can't be a friend if you don't say stuff.
Right.
To allow me to be a friend. You know what I'm saying?
I get you.
I think you've gotten better at that. Thank you. But man, no, I did not know that was happening in that time frame. I didn't.
No.
Sheesh.
I didn't even know the second one. Oh, see, I'm like Toya. I'm feeling some type of way. Like, nah, I'm good. I'm glad you're good. Yeah. I'm glad. That's the whole thing. I'm glad that you are good and that you're able to talk about that, because many women can't, unfortunately.
Yeah,
you know?
it took time, and like Toya, she touched on it. I can, as much as I'm outgoing, I can keep things in. I can be an introvert. It's weird. Like I could do both. I guess it's just depending on what. But yeah, I could be an introvert and then I could be outgoing as well. But with that, I used to wonder why every year around a certain time I would go low. And I mean like really low. And I'm not gonna say depression, but I would just like cry for no reason. And I just couldn't find joy. And then I prayed about it because I was like, what is this? Am I being oppressed, or like, what is going on, Lord? And he had me look up the date of when I lost my children, and they were around the same time. And I was like, that's what it is. But I'm grateful that he showed that to me, because once he showed it to me, that heaviness no longer came annually. I was able to address it. But I just thank God that I was even there to help my spouse, because sometimes people think it's all about the woman. But the man also lost 2 of his children too. And I remember always asking my husband, how are you doing? I don't want you just asking me, how am I doing with this? How are you doing with this? And he was so like grateful for that. So again, if someone's listening to this part too, don't just focus on the woman's needs, but also focus on the male that has experienced a loss too.
Yeah, because we treat men as they're supposed to be the masculine ones and not really understanding they have feelings too, and that's the whole thing. They go through it. They don't they sometimes they don't cry because they want to be strong for us ladies, but that's when our time of need is, when we need to be leaning on each other and supporting one another and understanding, that they're going through the same thing. Just like when you're sick, they're feeling it, or just, even the children, and, aspect.
Yeah.
It's the whole thing.
It's so true. Now, I don't want to bring us down now, ladies. It was just
No.
something that in that picture that I see now, Tanesha has some good pictures. I'm gonna have to dig in her box. Where you keep your pictures? And yeah.
Go ahead. Them lips, girl.
Oh yeah, girl, I got to. Look.
Yeah, I've been trying to read
reapply right here.
Yeah.
I still have numbness right here, so I gotta keep putting stuff on.
Got that Burt's Bees. Oh, they not paying us.
Go on and advertise them. Do you like them, LaToya?
I do love Burt's Bees, and I was using them for a long, long time. I still do. I have Burt's Bees everywhere because I couldn't find my Palmer's cocoa butter stick. Now that's my joint.
Always been.
And I was looking. I still couldn't find them. My sweetheart was like, "Well, I'm sure we can get some on Amazon." I was like, "Duh!" So he ordered me 3 sticks, and now that's my joint.
So Burt's Bees has the tinted chapsticks too. Do you do the tinted colored one?
Nah, I stick with the vanilla blue cap.
Toya has been smiley face vanilla blue for North Carolina.
True.
And I if I was to sit down,
happy with the car.
Yeah, there'd be more stuff. Tanesha Tweety Bird. Let's see what else. I know there's more to you too.
There's more to her.
Yes.
Just silliness. I mean, when I think of Tenio, I thought I was thinking Leo the lion, and I mixed it up with that's how my brain be doing me right now.
It's all good.
But I just think joy and laughter and silliness.
Yes.
Yeah, I can tell you that with these ladies, I've laughed so much, so many times. The stories that we had, the memories we had, being at Thunderbird Lanes, going out, trying to be grown, a dog chasing me and one wasn't helping me. I just have stories with these
ladies. That was funny. Oh man, like I said, we could go on and on. But this one was chased by a dog, and it was so hilarious that I could not even call the dog off of her. And she's just crying out for help, but it was so funny. I could not help her. It was not intentional. Believe me, Tanesha. I think I peed on myself, didn't I?
Yep.
I was about to say, yeah, a little bit.
Yep.
Oh, wait. Remember when we would have to jump the creek to get to the AFES trailer?
Yeah, the other side, the nasty woody stuff. Oh gosh.
Didn't we slip one time and fall in the creek? And I think I peed on myself then.
Always. This is the thing. Again, who's ever listening, I can tell you how many times I done peed on myself being around these two ladies. I just growing up with them, the stories. Yes, I'm telling you, this is what has happened to us. We have been so many times being around, just the stories we had growing up.
Listen, I didn't know about fighting until I met Toya. Toya was the scrapper. I didn't know about
it's not even true.
About let's see, alcohol until I went to Tanisha's house. She had the big bar. I didn't know about getting into trouble until hanging with Tanesha and her friends. I ain't gonna say the girl's name, but I remember we went to her house, and I don't know if her parents left a pack of Newports.
Always. We try to smoke it.
That day, how to smoke.
Try to smoke it.
Man, you can't throw Tanesha out there. You was trouble too.
Oh yeah, she was. She kept hers under.
No, it was not just Tanesha. It was equally both of them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Both of y'all.
Yes.
Mhm.
And then we went to what was that place called, Tanesha, by Thunderbird Lanes? Something about like a baseball cage,
Oh, bat and golf.
bat and golf.
Yeah, the bad golf. Mm-hmm. Yep.
We found trouble up in bat and golf. We found
See,
trouble.
Stacey was the trouble one because she would take the car and then try to pull over and almost getting us in an accident, thinking the cops was coming to get us. So
Yes, but that
Oh
was
my
later in
God.
life.
that was later in life, but
That was
still.
later in life. Because I was figuring, if these girls are going to try and take this car and don't know how to drive, why don't I try? And I found out I was a good driver.
Mm-hmm.
So don't ever do that. Don't ever do that. But back then, gas was like $1
Yep.
and maybe $1.20. I don't know.
So we were able to fill it back up.
We filled that gas tank right back up so her parents would not know we were taking the car.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. We were bad.
Just
But
the
God
things
kept
we
us
did.
through it all. Thank you,
Yes,
Lord.
he did. Yes,
God's
yes.
craziness. And so now our children are trying to start that mess up and we're nipping it in the bud. Not so.
Oh my goodness.
Learn from my choices. Don't go down that road.
Telling them.
All right, Miss Toya, as we close out, what would you like to share with our listeners today?
So open-ended. About friendship specifically.
Whatever's on your heart, what would you just like to end out with? Give us your closure, and then Tanesha, I'm coming to you next.
I don't know. I guess I would end out with like, hey, if you really don't have a relationship with Jesus and don't know him, like, then it's worth trying to get to know him. And because he has made a difference in my life that like I wouldn't be where I am, I wouldn't be who I am,
Yes.
I wouldn't have the joy that I have without him. So if you don't know him, I would just implore you to reach out to Stacy or any of us, but I mean it's Stacy's podcast, so reach out to her and ask any questions that you have. And then I would just, I mean, since we're talking about friendships, you know, be the friend that you want to be, you want to have, you know what I'm saying? Like nobody wants a trash friend. So don't be a trash friend.
That's a
I guess that I'll leave it at that. Don't be a trash friend.
All right. Lovely, lovely. Come on,
So,
Tanesha.
picking off a little bit what Toya said, you know, because here's the thing. God is our first friend, no matter what.
Right.
So if you really want to seek a true friendship, you need to reach out to him first because he's your number one and he will carry you through everything that, you know, any situation that you are going through. You need to call on him. And that's the whole thing. Like, even in times of trouble and times of need, we reach out to our friends. But again, he is your true one, no matter what. He will be there no matter what the situation may look like, okay? Because he knows the plan for you.
Yeah.
So when we talk about just true friendships, just having the patience, the time, the understanding, and being there for, you know, one another, and just, again, allowing the friendship to go its path. And, you know, the whole thing is, like we said, there was a season, we were in a season, but we're actually working in our lifetime right now. All of us, like Stacey said, want to grow with one another. And I just pray that as this generation understands that who a true friend is and what a true friend may look like. And if you call on the Lord, he will show you who your true friends are.
Yes, he will. Well said, ladies. I don't think there's any more to say to that because you're absolutely right. God ordained this friendship.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't just by happenstance or just, you know, coincidence stumble upon each other. It was divine intervention that allowed our paths to come together. And that's why I can give all the glory only to God because he allowed this to happen. It is not by mistake. And because it's not by mistake that our history of friendship that has evolved into sisterhood for all these years, I have to be a good steward of that because he has entrusted Toya and Tanesha with my care and vice versa. Toya, he has entrusted me and Tanesha in your care. Tanesha, God has entrusted you with Toya and I. You have to be good stewards of that. That's why we can't be a trash friend, as Toya pointed out, which I want my shirt when you copyright that saying.
That's right.
I am not a trash friend, so you shouldn't be either. But there has to be an example, and Jesus Christ is our example for all good and perfect things. He laid down his life. Love is sacrificial. When it comes to your relationships, you have to have that word sacrifice somewhere in that equation, or else it's not a real relationship. So not a self relationship, it is a selfless relationship. We are called to esteem others higher than ourselves. If you are in a relationship where someone is always, it's about them, that all-consuming spirit is not right. You're not called to worship people. You're called to worship God, and God all by himself. So you have to be very mindful of if someone is causing you to be distracted by their need all the time, something's not right. Pray for their heart. Pray for the relationship. Pray for God to tell you exactly why your paths cross. It might be just for that, for you to pray for their soul. It might be just for that you would fast and pray for whatever spirit is being used in that person's life. It's always a bigger picture, but the intentionality of our Savior, it is worth stopping and asking him, what is going on with this relationship? Don't ever treat it with your own hands as if you're in control. You're not in control of anything.
That's right.
So you have to ask God, what would you have of me with these people, with this relationship, and with this time? Because just like a book, every chapter involves something fresh and new. Just be used the way that God would have you to be used in that chapter, because that's being found faithful. That's being found being obedient and not being shady and not being what the world would declare an enemy. We're friends. No friendly fire. No putting one another down when we've been called to lift one another up. So I thank you, Toya. I thank you, Tanesha, for being honest and transparent and showing us how we can be better friends and true friends in such a time as this. Because effective communication definitely plays key in true friendship. Love you all.
Love you too.
Thank you all for tuning in to this episode.
Time, where you going? Come back. Every coin got two sides, every sword got two edges. Life begin as one ends. How will I be remembered, mortal man? It's something about 30 make you contemplate the journey. You heard me? I told my mama, can't believe I'm getting older, wish that I could stop it. She like, what's your other option?